So I sent this direct message to a girl on Twitter.
That was your first mistake.
Well, no, I mean, it was actually a sustained conversation. There were some replies back and forth. And she responded, because she was like, all right, I gotta work, but DM me later. And I was like, what's DM me?
Direct message.
So I waited, and it was like 7 o'clock, and she's on the East Coast. And I'm like, no, that's good enough. You awaken an ink. You are so tired from your journey that you are just looking forward to what you're going to do. You see your robe and cloak on a nail, so you feel very comfortable. But again, you're very confused. What would you like to do? New phone, who dis? Alright. Hello, and welcome to Isn't It Obvious? I am host Micah. With me is Sera and Phil. My topic for evening is, should everyone use voices?
Why, yes, I think you're correct.
And I do have certain parameters, like, to be insulting because of accents, no good. But in terms of enhancing certain interactions as well as expanding how to use ingrained natural language is important.
Well, Phil, what voice would you use?
Well, let me just start out here, and I think that it's very important to distinguish between voices and caricatures, because as a world-class caricature voice actor, I have to say that it's very distinct about how you would like to portray yourself and how your mouth moves. Like, you have to think about the mouth movement and try to imagine the character you're trying to mimic.
Phil's gonna hate it.
Alright, well, is that so you have to think about things? Like, you gotta really think about how your mouth moves? It's not so much
we're
like a
going to
personality
Southern Belle now? That's exciting.
Damn, most ultra.
I was uncomfortable with all of this.
But, legitimately,
I think it's a little insulting, but it's also kind of fun.
Sure, it is. It can be insulting.
I do
if
really
you do portray.
I really enjoy listening to an American accent from literally any other country trying to behave as a caricature American. It is hilarious.
This is what spurred me on this. Was I was listening to the Billy Boyd and Dominic Moynihan podcast, Merry and Pippin, talking to each other. And they busted out their Midwest accent.
Oh, good. Oh,
which,
sure.
let me tell you, this is what they think Midwesterners sound like.
That's actually pretty valid.
I mean,
all right, sorry,
it's close, but I mean, you gotta use
hold on, let me tell you. Here in Des Moines, we definitely drive cabs around New York.
Okay, that's more
because that's what they fucking sounded like.
That's more like, okay, I was gonna say, yeah.
No, they were New York cabbies. And they're like, yeah, that's what people from the Midwest sound like, right?
No.
Sorry, that's what they sound like from the Midwest, right? And they have a voicemail, and I was so tempted to be like, hey there, Mary and Pippin. Let me tell you, someone from the Midwest. You have your little food segment. Let me tell you, the lutefisk is very tasty. And let me tell you, as someone who's never visited your fabled, mythical land, that your Midwest accent was fucking insulting. And let me tell you, you can watch a movie from 1996 that is a bunch of fucking Californians talking like those from the Midwest, and they did it bad, but not as bad as you.
Send that.
You need to send that.
Record that, email it to him.
It's gotta be a voicemail.
Just
they have an 800 number?
At the end of this.
Wait,
at the end of this.
It's a 900. Don't send it to him. It's a 900 number.
At the end of this, just clip that piece out.
Hello there, Mary and Pippin. Sorry, Billy and Dominic. Let me tell you, as your persons, as opposed to weird caricatures that you feel is a cabbie from New York.
Oh, don't you know?
Oh yes, how about it there? You know, God bless you.
I love it.
I mean, I still enjoy when people try to do the Midwest accent.
Oh yeah, don't you know?
Oh, I have a boat.
Yeah, you got a boat and you're going up north.
Let me just sneak right past
you
there.
you gotta get by there.
Sorry. Pardon me.
It's the
How's
Fargo.
the weather out there?
That's the movie Fargo, right? Like
Yeah.
they really.
That's right. I grew up there in Southern California, but I'm here from Bemidji.
I know Fargo is technically in North Dakota, but it feels like it's really part of Minnesota.
Well, also, that movie would have been the same if you called it Minneapolis. Like Fargo, like 2 syllable. Very good.
True.
Plus, the Coen Bros grew up in Minneapolis, and fucking Henry Kissinger, Man on the Move, sounds like a fantastic film title.
Or it could have just been St. Paul.
That's so bad, because most of it took place in Minneapolis.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, we can go to that parking garage.
Also, St. Paul sounds like a Christian film, and no one wants that.
That's true.
If it's St. Paul, it probably has Paul Bettany in it, and it's way too serious.
I like Paul Bettany. He's a
I
really good
know,
actor.
but
I don't even
he
know who
would
that is.
definitely be in a super division. Super serious. What?
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 What did you say?
What?
He's a robot.
We have a cultural
No, I legitimately didn't hear you.
Oh,
What?
Vision.
He's Vision from
Okay.
Age of Ultron.
Okay.
And subsequent Marvel films.
Okay.
Yeah, but also
Sorry.
I literally didn't hear you.
we have this cultural I hate Disney, and what Disney has done to Marvel, I kind of respect it a smidgen, but they went way too far. But it is still a cultural touchstone that we can all go, and also Paul Bettany's voice is really hard to duplicate, and I respect him for that.
he's good. I mean, Gary Oldman is one of those actors that I don't know who he is until someone tells me he's Gary Oldman. Like
He is a very good actor.
in the fifth.
Apparently a piece of shit in real life, but a very good actor.
I did not know that he was a piece of shit. That makes me sad.
Super abusive to his wife in public situations, and it's not good.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
That is not good. So
But he's an Oscar winner, so pass?
No.
there's no
But
pass.
he didn't rape anyone, so he's not Kevin Spacey.
Still not a pass. Don't be an
More
asshole.
pass than Kevin Spacey?
More of a pass than Kevin Spacey.
No pass. No fucking pass. It's not as bad. No
Sarah
fucking
has the
pass.
correct track here.
No
Phil,
fucking
you're a
pass.
misogynist.
Yes, but let me.
Yes, but
Yes, but I'm
Sorry,
Gonna,
male in America, that's a valid yes, but.
yeah.
I'm gonna fucking
Let me
reach over this
rephrase-
table and choke his fucking face out. What?
Okay,
Yeah, but that's a fine yes, but too.
I just want to say one thing.
Yes, but what? One thing.
One thing is that I think Roman Polanski should go to prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's why he hid in France, which they have different rules about what statutory rape is, so it's a non-extradition crime.
I don't know. I think he still should go to prison there. Like, I think he should just go to
No.
prison everywhere.
Well,
like,
but
anywhere he's
but
at.
it's
Just
France.
Hop around to different prisons
No,
around
it's
there.
France.
Yeah.
Drugging and raping a 16-year-old is fine.
No.
It's France.
Yeah, but it was a 13-year-old.
That's not right anywhere. I don't care what the laws are.
An American 16 is a French like 8, so.
He should go to hell. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
Well,
there
he's
should be an
going to, but we
express-
also have to be under the assumption that hell exists.
Then he
doesn't.
should.
Which, if you're going to hell,
This
this is what
if
they say.
no,
No, that was just a bad dwarf. Sorry.
if there's any hell, it's this. We're living it right now. Anyway,
No.
What was the
Hell
topic?
has to be better than this. Because this suffering is just inhumane.
Prison. That's what
Hell,
hell
this
is. He
is
should
hell.
be going to prison,
No,
right?
this is hell.
Prison.
No,
Anyway,
you're going to
prison.
a different topic that I'm going to bring up next week about our prison system.
Okay, fair enough. What is your topic in the sense that voices and accents have to be respectfully done, but
No, they
It's
don't.
not necessarily that it has to be respectfully done. It just can't be done out of malice.
That's true.
You can do it with an ignorance of what the culture that you're riffing on is, but you can't do it out of straight malice. It can't be something where you're insulting a type of dialect, especially if it's taken into English as opposed to its native tongue.
I think it's adorable when people attempt an accent. I think it's cute. As long as they're not doing it, like you said, maliciously.
Right.
Like, if they're doing it to make fun of the...
Yeah,
like,
if you
and
do
not-
some
and
shitty
not just-
Spanish and say you're Mexican, like, no, all that's bad.
I mean, if you do it like... Oh, God. There was one time, and I feel stupid about it.
At Bandcamp.
No.
American Pie reference.
Well, I guess I'm not going to go into the story because
Thank
I'm
you.
bad
Uzbek wouldn't have got that.
I'm not
Thanks,
embarrassed
Uzbek.
about it, but we'll just say I
a
made a
90s film. No
fucking
one's gonna
ass of
get this.
myself. We'll just say I made an ass of myself, and I felt bad for it, and I won't do it again. But you know,
Did you say quinky dink in a social setting?
no, but no, we'll just.
I did. It was one of the biggest eggs on my face ever.
It was like a situation where it was an egg on my face, and I felt stupid about it, and like I'll just put that up to my stupid white privilege, and I'll do better next time. But yes, there's points in which like maybe it's not appropriate or it's not funny. But if it's like, you know, like in a group of us three when we're just having a chat, or if you're DMing or like in a
I think
game.
this concept can go beyond a
Or if you're just having to just...
small circle setting.
Yeah,
like,
I mean...
where there's comfort, absolutely do all this, and even then you can be a bit risque about it. And then,
but just
depending on
don't
the pushback,
yeah,
you self-correct.
And I think even though I was kind of stupid in my thing, I think they knew I wasn't trying to be insulting or condescending or whatever, but it still maybe came off that way. So like I did feel a little stupid, but in general, I wasn't intending to be an asshole or intending to be, you know.
Why is important.
So yeah, so like it's kind of like, you know, cut people slack, even if they're, you know, like Merry and Pippin giving us a Boston accent, Boston cabbie accent.
I just want them to eat lutefisk on the podcast.
For don't you know you bitch.
All I want in all of this is just a petty enough a grievance for them to actually eat lutefisk. That's it. And then comment on how...
Don't eat lutefisk, it's not worth it.
No, it is... It's an experience. But
I mean, try it once.
I will preface it like
necessary.
this. If you're willing to try cocaine, you should absolutely try lutefisk.
Okay. IO does not advocate for you to try cocaine nor lutefisk. I just want to repeat this.
No. This is not an encouragement of taking cocaine. This is just, if you've ever had the thought, I want to try cocaine, you should absolutely try lutefisk before you try cocaine. Mm-hmm. Because lutefisk tastes exactly like how cocaine makes you feel.
All right, if that's soap in the mouth, then yes.
Are you saying that from experience, Sarah?
Absolutely not, but...
Phil, are you rebuttaling me on experience?
I read...
So, have you had lutefisk?
Yes.
Have you had lutefisk?
No.
I have not, either. So, this feels like we're gonna need to have fucking lutefisk. There's a lutefisk festival? I've heard there's a lutefisk festival.
Oh, God. We're doing this, aren't we? Okay,
we might have to.
Okay, so just so the readers... not readers. So that the listeners...
For our readers, you will get a play-by-play in excruciating detail.
No, you won't.
For our listeners, this will be a Patreon only.
And for everyone else, the pecking order is now this. It's the bacon episode, which has yet to be aired, the pizza episode, and then the lutefisk episode, which is going to be very sad because no one's going to be happy with that one.
Because I've had lutefisk, that might have to be a lutefisk and cocaine episode.
No.
We don't advocate for cocaine, but with lutefisk, there may be exceptions.
Something has to stop that taste.
As far as I
taste
know,
of minty fresh soap
anything like lutefisk is just a vessel for butter. That's all I've.
What?
No, you don't. You just eat it.
What?
With the.
That's what I've heard.
No.
You can't eat it raw. Like no, you can't eat it. No.
Yes.
Oh fuck.
That is what it is.
That's what you eat.
It is fish soaked in lye and salt for at minimum 3 months.
Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to do this.
We're going to have to do this. Okay, I just want the listeners to know that the editor had indeed consumed lutefisk by accident. I have read a book about lutefisk, and I would say that this is not going to be an enjoyable experience by anybody, including the listeners.
From my experience, here's what it is. You don't eat lutefisk.
You swallow it.
You just kind of swallow it.
Yeah, you just get
because
it over.
Your stomach will take care of the rest.
You just don't taste it.
And
the less you taste, the
no
better.
floss will get rid of it between your teeth.
Oh god.
So what we're gonna need to do? We're gonna need to make some bacon beforehand.
Yes.
And then we're gonna have to put lutefisk. We'll eat the lutefisk as it is first.
No. My counter. I agree. We need to cook bacon, put it in the lye and salt with the
No!
This is not how this works. This is not how any of this works.
It would certainly improve it, but
no.
It would. Would it?
No, it would not.
It absolutely would.
No. It would be
bacon
bad.
after being soaked in lye for fucking 3
It would
months?
be. It would not even exist.
I mean,
it would just
it
be
wouldn't
jelly.
Taste, no, it wouldn't even
just be
taste
gross.
like. It wouldn't taste like fish. But would it taste like bacon or would it taste like lye bacon?
It would taste like soap. That's what it would taste like.
It taste like bacon.
Then we can make a product lye bacon.
Laken. Minnesota
Happy
specialty.
Laken. Yeah.
Laken.
Minnesota Laken.
Oh,
you
boy.
get it at the lakes.
Ah, fuck.
Oh, that's good. That's very good, but also terrible.
This is yet another business opportunity.
Are you kidding me? We have $1 billion in this podcast.
Yeah, except for we just have no ambition to do shit.
I don't really care if we do it. I just want someone else to do it for us.
Pretty much. I don't want to do the work.
Hello, welcome, sharks. Let me tell you about lutefisk.
What is lutefisk?
Sorry,
No.
Laken.
No. You got you're
It's lutefisk bacon.
You're using a Russian accent. You need to use a Midwestern accent, like a hard.
Sure, we need some row in that then.
You know, like oh.
Hello there, sharks. Let me tell you about this product we have here.
Yeah,
Okay?
there you go. That's it.
This is
Well
alright.
done.
You've heard of
Well done.
lutefisk, right? I mean, lutefisk. It's great. We all live by it, right? Yeah, right. My wife, she doesn't talk much, but. So, you see here, what we took was lutefisk, and we put it back in the barrel of... I mean, it's a plastic jar. We call it a barrel. It makes it sound better. And then we put bacon in there. And let me tell you, after that bacon soaks in, oh boy, you'll open yourself next door.
Yeah, and then we got some Laken for you.
Oh, we got Laken for you. And look at that logo. Let me tell you, my niece made that logo. It's the best logo you can think of. Makes it
just
folksy. It's great.
darling.
What is that, Mr. Wonderful? You're already out? All right, fuck you, you Canadian bastard.
A.
Yeah, A.
First of all,
All right, FUBU guy, come on, bacon, fit,
Laken,
no, all right,
Laken,
QVC lady. I'm
lutefisk
sorry, I never
bacon.
actually learned any of your names, but let me tell you, we can talk about the weather for hours, but your names, no.
Oh,
Where I
yeah.
live, not going to tell you
No,
that at all.
We're
but
the
let me tell
land
you,
of 200. No, what was it? 10,000 Lakens.
oh god, we have to come up with 10,000 flavors.
This is a
Come
bad
on, 10,000 Laken. It's right there.
It's right there.
But anyway, the use of languages, regardless, like, I feel that some type of
Sad that I almost
stereotypical.
forgot our fucking.
Oh yeah,
I'm loving this.
I had to wrangle that back because we went really down that rabbit hole, and sorry, I really went down that rabbit hole and drank both of you with me unwillingly.
You're still down that rabbit hole.
I'm enjoying every minute of this.
All you have to do is come to one of my DM sessions and you get all of this, except for more Russian because they are to make villain.
Russians
You know,
do
it
make
really,
good
it
villains,
really
they do.
frustrates me whenever he does a Russian accent because I assume like it's not a bad guy because it's going to be a good guy because he's subverting expectations. But then it turns out he's actually a fucking bad guy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it!
But then I make a very diminutive person with a slight lisp, and I just say that little
And then I
angel,
also assume that he's going to be a good guy, but
Yeah,
he's a bad guy.
You saw that angel from the army of fascists, right?
I'm so mad because like I had a character in my thing. Well, you know this because
Yes.
I'm DMing for you and the editor for our little one shot, which turned into more like a 7-shot. Anyway,
You have a half campaign at this point.
it's basically a mini campaign. But the little side character is also has
very good little mini campaign.
it's pretty cute.
I do nothing but complimenting you.
They're
I got the Game
Yes.
Breaker
he
sword.
got the game breaker.
Yeah.
He got game breaker.
Yeah, here's the thing.
But-
you prep
But
for this
my
stuff.
but
I just
my
make it up.
but my character who like is
Yeah.
like the kind of side character to kind of help out just in case you come up against something that's bullshit, right?
I'm fan
He has a
of
list, but
cousin.
he's like has a heart of gold. He's like the like. Well, I mean, I say this, but you don't know.
Yes, my brother's the High Inquisitor, but we differ in a lot of stuff.
But he has a lisp, and he's like the most adorable character ever, and I love playing him. He may or may not be evil. You don't know that, but
May or may not be
What?
evil. May or may not be
I'm not telling.
evil.
We shoved him through a trap door and he apologized to us.
It's playing the long con, guys.
What is that? No. Hold on. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No. All right. You are here to guide us through the realm, right? Go. Oh, I succeeded my strength check. He runs through. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to set that off. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I do have to interject here
Love my character.
about accents and language. Have you guys ever wondered what American stereotypes are for different regions? Like, what an American...
No. We're either fucking John Wayne, a surfer, or a cabbie.
But-
that's all we are.
No.
We are Texas, New York, or California.
No.
That's how the world sees us.
Sometimes we're just big, like gangsters too. Like that's also a trope I've seen in a lot of.
I feel that trope doesn't match the
Yeah.
ancestry of us.
I don't know. It's still definitely It was definitely played as an American in this particular.
As two Scandinavians and of Korean descent, I'm not sure if we trigger that gangster of America.
We don't, but we certainly aren't New
Yeah, nobody gives a
Yorker or
shit about Scarface at
Californian.
this point.
Like, no, we're not a New York cabbie or a California Valley girl.
So I have to say this because when you watch a Korean soap opera and
which are
there's
great, by the way.
when there's an American involved, it's just think about this.
It's so bad.
You watch a Korean soap opera and there's an American involved, and I have to say they are the worst actors.
Oh, they are the worst.
It's just the worst.
Or like
What
listening
is
to
the
English,
Korean
like
American?
Not Korean American, but
No. What is the Korean film American?
Okay, so I'm interpreting this as if you had a Korean film and you had an American actor.
Yes.
yes.
The American actor has like 2 lines. And they're the businessman.
Okay.
And they say something like, I don't want to talk with that girl. And then they just, that's how their delivery is.
God.
Like, they have to be taken from the street and they're dressed in a business suit. And that's their line. Like, they're the power, they have the money. This is a real deal.
But
this is international.
So it's always the shitty CEO type.
Yeah,
character?
like some guy that like this is.
Hold
serious.
on there. Let me call New York.
No, it's not even that good.
No?
It's not even. No, it's
Hold on.
exactly. No. I will not talk to that girl.
I will not talk to that girl. Like that.
That's it. That is it.
And then the I can't express the gestures through my arms, but
no,
what
it's
you
the same
had,
anime. It's just bad.
It's
Like the English,
really,
it's
I'm just
bad.
trying to understand how that's so bad as a person.
Okay, well, if there was a clip, I could show it, but like my dad actually took me up. I was there just like hanging out, just spending a good time, and my dad's like, "You have to watch this." Sits me down, shows me this YouTube video. It's like, this is what they portray Americans as, Philip. And then I watch this and I start bursting out in fucking laughter. It's so terrible because he's like, the thing is like they cut scene to the protagonists of the film, which are Korean, and they actually act really convincing that they're happy. They're hugging each other because it's like the American agreed to fund their enterprise. The underdog wins, and then like he's like, look how good the Korean people are acting, and look how terrible this American man is acting. And I was like, can't be that bad. He rewinds it, plays it again, and I'm like,
that's
oof.
bad.
Oof, that's bad.
Yeah.
So then in my head, I'm wondering, like...
Well, it's a lot more competitive for people there to... they have to be good if they want to get a part, right? But
hold on.
the American...
I can have a career as a shitty American actor in
Yes.
Just move to
God.
any country that does not speak English. You could be an actor.
Yes.
I look okay in a suit.
Oh, yeah. If you look good in a suit...
Not good. Like, I'm okay.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
good.
not going to shave this and have, like,
No.
chins,
So
but-
your competition will be a lot less because, I mean, don't get me wrong. And I feel like the English, we'll call it, has improved. That's what they call it.
English.
Okay.
When a non-English speaker speaks English as a voice actor.
Yeah, I just
It's
assumed
terrible.
that's a type of a stereotype.
No.
It's what we. I mean, it probably is a
They also call it Konglish, too.
Konglish
Yeah.
or Chinglish.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
It's
In German, they call it false friends or false cognates.
Well, yeah, because nobody's friends with Germans. Why would you be friends with someone that sounds like me?
Doesn't like Germany have like a billion, or the language in German have like a lot of like
None.
words for friendship or like different types of friendship?
Probably.
Yeah, like
They
Spanish.
would be very stratified in
Yeah,
what they consider
yeah.
cultural.
Anyway, sorry.
Mutter Vater. Everything else is great.
Friends in business. Friends in familial
Yeah, I heard
circumstances.
like there's
Friends in sodomy.
what the hell?
Friends in
Anyway,
the Navy.
Friends in bondage.
but what I'm saying
Friends
is,
in the British Navy.
Friends in unwilling bondage.
I feel
Friends
like
in the
it's
American
gotten a
Navy.
lot
God, they all
better.
force in German.
Sorry, I feel like the English, non-English speaking English voice acting in animated, we'll just say films or not films,
Live action too.
has gotten a lot better because I feel like the competition is starting to roll. But sorry, what the?
Oh wait,
I got Panama being assholes.
Do I even have to say my lines, or is it just gonna be like ADR after? Just in Korean.
Sorry.
But I feel like it's gotten a little better over time because I feel like the people have started to watch foreign films more. Like there's a lot more American and UK audiences for Korean and Thai and Chinese dramas and stuff. So they're aware that there's this audience that exists, and they're starting to cater to that audience because there's money to be made, right? So they're investing more in at least English subtitle translation, and they're starting to probably invest more in
American
actors or English-speaking actors who are a little more competent in the language itself. And while it works for the country of origin that it's being produced for initially, they don't know. So it sounds fine to them, but us who are hearing our own language spoken kind of stiltingly it's a little rough. We can look past it because in general the Korean actors, the Thai actors, the
Japanese
or Chinese actors, they're really good.
They're really good.
They're so good. Stuff. And they're so good, and the competition is so high. But then you hear these poor I get it. That's what you got to work with, but you can do better.
So my thought is that at least in the early aughts, 2000s, if you see an American in a Korean show, it means that there is international money involved, and it's a big market, right? There is money involved from the West. And if they speak in an American accent, it means that there's a lot of power and prestige involved in this type of stereotype. And I always thought but what do Russians think about Americans? If we hear an evil British accent, I'm oh, that guy is a bad person in Hollywood, right? He's a baddie.
Are we the baddies?
But then, if you hear a Russian accent in the Jack Bauer series, you're red herring. He's actually a good guy, right? You don't know. But if you flip the script, Keith Sutherland. If there is a Russian
spy saga, is Germans not the bad guy? Oh yeah.
If you have a Russian film and you have something with an American, I always wonder do they portray Americans as the patsy? Do they portray them as the fool? Do they portray him as
we'll have to go see what Russian dramas are.
Yeah, no, it's not even Russian dramas. How is James Bond portrayed in Russia? As Russia was the great villain of England,
right?
The entire James Bond saga.
I know.
Yeah, they probably
is
don't
it just
want
hello James Bond, welcome to falling in my trap as I am smart KGB agent. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm here to fight for the Queen.
Yeah, I actually was at my old job. There was a German company.
Deutsche Bank.
Sure.
And there was an operator who was Russian.
Donald Trump.
And
rude. But
and she was probably. Hey, you're taking German classes. Can you say some German for me? And I was oh, yeah, we just had a lesson about food and drink. So.
Ja, warum? Ich bin ein Berliner.
And she's okay, say it. And I was möchten Sie Tee? Aber was ist Kuchen ohne Kaffee? And she just started laughing. She's you sound like the enemy. And she's wow.
Das war Danya, du Scheiß. Warum? Ich bin ein Mann.
I started what? And she's in the movies, you sound just like the enemy. Your German must be pretty good. And I was
wow.
What is going on here?
Would, in fact, the concept that everyone should speak in some sort of accents might increase their humanity to understand people from other nations?
Unless, if you're
it was
feeding,
fucking circuitous, but got to a point.
If you're feeding a stereotype, then no. But if you're subverting expectations, then yes.
Here's my counter. If a stereotype is all you know, then it's an educational experience. Because if you speak as a stereotype. If you do it out of malice, then you know that it's a stereotype and you're doing it to inflict some sort of harm.
I swear to God, sorry to cut you off,
I think you should
Sarah.
subvert expectations. That's more fun.
But I'm saying that the ignorance of...
I cut Phil off, sorry.
Yeah, and I'm cutting you off for cutting Phil off for Phil cutting me off.
Whatever.
So,
anyway, what, Phil?
Oh, thank you.
By transacting properties, you win.
Feels good to win.
Yeah, you were first on the stack, so...
Here it goes. I don't know if it's okay to have the punching downward or punching upwards in comedy. I think that applies the same for stereotypes of accents. And let me explain. So, if you punch... It's okay to punch up in comedy, right? I'm going to make fun of billionaires and such because fuck them, right?
I have a slight caveat. Comedy should always be punching up. If you're punching down, that's not comedy, that's bullying.
Yeah, so the same, honestly, I think the same goes for language and accents. And the reason why I say this is because if you're giving an accent from somebody of I don't know, Kenya or something like that. That seems of poor taste. And especially because, and the further you go to like Japanese or Chinese or Korean accents and stuff like that, the issue is that it doesn't have many roots with Latin. So it doesn't really seem very fair game. And I don't know why in my brain it seems like this, but like if you mock a Chinese accent, like, oh hi, my name is Philip and I'd love to meet you. A long time no see. Like this doesn't sound like good.
Yeah.
But you can make fun of someone with an Irish or French
or an American
or British accent, and that seems to be like a weird punching up game.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
oh well, it's because of reasons why it's okay to make fun of Pippin and Merriam for some reason. I don't know why, but it's like, oh well, okay, Welsh or Australian or New Zealand, but the moment
or even Russian.
Or Russian, but like even though that doesn't have much ties with German, well maybe, but like Latin, German,
No,
English
but,
is weird.
But you're still in potential punching up.
It's Slavic in nature.
But
they're still on at least equal-ish footing.
yeah, because English is just 3 languages in a trench coat.
But
Fair
also,
enough.
like Europe, the entire continent is kind of ripe for fodder in humor.
But I agree with you on you
you
wouldn't make fun of an Asian accent really, or you wouldn't make fun of an African accent.
But again,
right?
It feels a little wrong.
It feels really wrong, guys.
Wrong.
So is there a line between
so punching up? It's funny. Punching down.
But why is it punching up?
No, but outside of a term of humor, trying to incorporate.
Unless you're from that country.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, but yeah.
Because, like, what is it? Trevor Noah on The Daily Show?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's from South Africa.
Yep.
You know, like, so he can make the African accent or whatever, like, and he can do the South African accent, and he can do that. That's
Dutch
totally
English.
fine. Yeah, Dutch English. He can do that.
Afrikaner, yeah.
He can do that. I would not be able to get away with that.
No, because
neither of you would be able to get away with that.
Correct.
And I'm not trying to pull. I feel that there are certain aspects, if you went with the Dutch colonial accent, that proper Afrikaner, not proper, but
whatever.
the Afrikaner accent that is derivative of Dutch, that you can use that accent, but the use of accent isn't inherently bad if you're not using it in
a malicious way, like
Yes.
to make fun of them.
Dude, though,
But
you do that
Is that a
Chinese
fine
accent,
line?
man. I'm
So,
not
like,
going to say
I
that it's
guess
going to
if-
be the same receptive way. Because there is, again, I don't know why.
I suppose
but
if you're using it like in a DM, like as a DM in a campaign, you could maybe, like, if you're not making this character like, you know, a villain or something, like you're just a person you're meeting on the road, just a person, then maybe. But even then, it's a little like...
It's a little on the nose for some reason, right? Like, it just feels
a
like...
little...
If you think about Kung Fu Panda...
You wouldn't be a stand-up comic as a white man or even a white woman, like, making, like, a joke
Now, Margaret...
using an Asian or an African accent? Like, no.
Margaret Cho is a Korean-American comedian. And
so funny, I can only think of a song by Skanking Pickle.
And she does... One of her shticks is, like, pretending she's her mom. And she does a spot-on Korean-American accent, which is fucking hilarious.
That
But
only one person on
she's-
the podcast will actually mimic.
Is that, like, if anyone else does it, again, it feels like a really super racist. But it's okay to do it for British, Irish, Welsh, Scottish, New Zealand, Australian.
Right, the
you know, it's
colonial
like
powers.
Yeah.
There's a big white with, you know...
German,
I'm-
French,
Yeah.
Russian.
I will take a Russian accent and make villain in superficial thing. I will take a bit of a German accent and as well as incorporate its high staccato in terms of actually enunciating every letter that is there. It will be a thing. But
But it doesn't feel wrong.
No,
that doesn't
it feels
feel wrong because...
Well, first
In
of
a
all,
sense-
we're all kind of mutts in that regard. We all have, like, well, I don't
Well, in
know
terms of just
everyone's
being
fucking
American.
pedigree, but American,
like,
you have so many
You guys are hyphenless Americans.
hyphenless.
Hyphenless Americans.
Oh no. Hyphenless, yes, but air quotes definitely.
Correct. You
I
guys
mean,
are air quotes.
Like, we're American.
Right.
Because American is this weird amorphous ideal that doesn't mean anything
But I mean,
and
like,
is corrupted in every way.
But like our ancestry comes
Good
from
old
all
corruption.
over Europe and like Asia too. Like it.
Africa too.
Africa.
Hey, you can say all over. I'm fucking 100% Norwegian.
I mean, I'm
This explains
fucking all
a
over.
lot.
Yeah, I know.
I am fucking all over Europe.
All I
and
know is
Russian,
I'm an escape route to
Ukrainian,
Oslo and I'm
Polish,
golden.
Like I'm
Come whatever apocalypse.
pretty much everywhere in that upper like Europe to Asia, like except I'm not Chinese or.
Although your
But-
hand gestures say clearly Italian.
You know, I doubt. Jesus
But that
Christ.
joke be fucking made! Because Italians, if like, yeah, you know those Congolese, they really talk with their hand. Like, no American can make that joke. It's like, no.
I don't think, that is one
stop.
thing. I don't think
I don't
I'm,
get it. I don't
think I'm South European. That's where I don't think I don't have any Italian.
Well, you don't roll your
or
R's,
Greece.
duh.
I mean, no, I just don't have. That's just not my
That's
ancestry.
cool.
But like everything above like Switzerland and Italy, I'm like all of that. So
My argument with this is in an attempt to speak in a foreign dialect in your natural language opens up that interpretation of that dialect in that culture. And
which could be fucking wrong.
No, sure. But that at least inspires some creativity and some investigation into a culture you're not familiar with, because you have these stereotypes that you've been fed through your media.
Yeah.
And then you look into it, and you're like, well, no. Not all Italians speak with their hands. Many do. Fuck you, Italy.
I love you, Italy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna visit you someday.
Granted,
someday.
there is
It'll be
always that
wonderful.
punching up. But there is the response, because Europeans can't be angry if they're portrayed as the villains in media.
Because we fucking are.
Because we are the
have,
villains.
We have been the villains.
But if you want to interpret a language you're not familiar with into how your native dialect is portrayed in that language, it requires some investigation to do it right.
Yeah.
You may speak in Russian accent. I have minor interpretation, but for me, Russian,
and for
although
our
portrayed as
Russian
villain.
listeners who are listening,
No, we have one Uzbek.
and
We
wincing
noticed.
at his terrible Russian accent.
It's not terrible. By the way, I work... Okay, I'm not going to go there. But anytime I hear it, I'm like, God damn you, fucking Micah. I can't take anything he's saying seriously, because it reminds me of Micah's accent of Russian. Anyway, sorry.
But it's like, if you're going to approach using a dialect, because those that English is not their first language do have many dialects that have a lot of, high points to go off of and that can be copied. It does improve your empathy towards other languages if you do use these languages.
Now, I got a question. As far as like using other terms, because some languages are just better at having a word to describe something that maybe in our language we don't have something that's specific to it. And you use those words. Do you use it in the Englishized word, or do you try to speak it as its native?
In terms of that,
because that gets a little like, or even like titles of books or shows.
Sure, but in terms of the word in its native language.
Yeah.
As translated to the consumer's native language.
Well, like I'm trying to think of like.
Because
a good example.
Croissant.
Yeah, like croissant. Like we say croissant.
We say croissant.
But in
Croissant?
in France they say croissant.
Croissant.
Like croissant.
I mean, it's France.
Croissant.
You say the first three
There's
letters and the rest is...
No, it's like there's like almost like a croissant or something like that. French listeners, I apologize.
We don't have any Uzbek.
But-
Thank you for representing us.
Yeah, but like it's not how we say it. We just say croissant. But like if we ask for a croissant here, we say croissant. Mm-hmm. And if you go to a bakery and say, I want the croissant, and you say it in like a French accent, they'll look at you like you're being
I would like a...
And they look
Did
at you
I not
like
say
you're
it properly?
being...
I thought I said it properly.
They look at like you're being an asshole.
Sure.
So you might as well just say croissant.
I like to say it this. When I went to when I went to Montreal, I would go to the vendor.
All of Canada's Montreal. Come on, Phil.
And no. In this case, I go to
Toronto exists and nothing else.
When I go to Montreal, I go to their Starbucks, and then I would say, my coworker there is there, and he just is so like ashamed. I'm like, bonjour, je voudrais manger un croissant, s'il vous plaît. And they're like, dude, we speak English, motherfucker. And I'm like, listen, I've been studying French for 6 goddamn months. I'm gonna fucking use it. And they're like, here's your goddamn croissant. Get the fuck out of here. And I'm like,
here's a croissant. We spit in it and we're telling you in English.
But the funny thing is, like, the younger people absolutely fucking laugh at my cringy attempt. Mm-hmm. And then the older people love it. So they do. So like, they just think it's hilarious that a Korean descent man is trying to fucking butcher their language, and they're like, Oh, this
You're
is delicious.
adorable.
I think
like,
it's adorable.
I think it's really.
Oh.
I love it when people try, and it's clearly not their first language, and they're just learning. I love it when people try, and I generally think that's the same case for a lot of people in foreign countries. If you try. Like if you're visiting and you try to speak Italian, or if you're visiting and you try to speak Japanese or Korean, or like you give it your best go, and you might fuck up and you might make a mistake, but I think they can be they're mostly going to be understanding. Like they recognize that okay, it's clearly not your forte, not your first language, and you're trying, and we'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. Like you're not being an asshole. You're just
So is it?
It's true. I like it.
I think it's cute.
I had this experience when I went to Spain of someone that I befriended on that trip. We went to a pharmacy to get an alarm clock because in America, pharmacies are the place where you get shit at 2 a.m. because it's open.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So it's like, if there's something you need, it's probably at a pharmacy. But we went to a pharmacy, which was a 24-hour pharmacy in Madrid, and she walked up and spoke Spanish, although a bit...
American-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm there like, "Expected Deutsch?" Of like, just saying about like, not my bag. Just see if it works. She asked her question, and I will not repeat what was said in Spanish because it wasn't. But it was basically, "We're a pharmacy?"
Yeah.
And I heard that, and I'm just like, I know that tone. He has a good point. We misunderstood this interaction entirely. Toot my lied. We will go on. And actually, it was like, yeah, pointing at me like, you spoke shitty German. Better than you being American.
Yeah, seriously though, if you speak shitty German in Germany, 9 times out of 10, they would, look, I'm not going to speak for all German people.
No, hold on. If you ever want to be treated like a puppy.
Yes,
Aw, you're so-
yes, they will treat you like a puppy.
You're so
Speak
cute.
a native language in the country as not a native speaker. And they'll be like, oh,
You're so
yeah.
cute.
Dude,
Look at
it
how
is
cute
so-
you
you
said
are.
something so fucking offensive and stupid, it's fine.
It is true.
Try.
I love it. I don't like speaking Korean in Korea. It's fucking terrible because they expect better of me. So I always have the editor speak Korean for me, and they love it. They love the editor speaking Korean because it's this white girl
The
with
best thing was
100%
when
German
the
ancestry.
editor,
at the
told
amusement
off.
park?
Oh yeah, at the aquarium
I
in
don't know
Osaka.
half of that story. That's an amazing fucking
It was
story.
the best. She might recall it differently, but what I remember was there was these 2 Korean tourists who were visiting the Osaka aquarium with us, and she was, like the receptionist or whoever was getting, they were taking our money to get our tickets, right? They ask like, "Oh, where are you from?" Because they want to know, like, who's showing up at their aquarium. So she's answering these questions, like, "Yes, I'm from, America. Like I'm here on, whatever." And these little shits. These little teenagers, or I don't know, they were like these young kids from Korea. They're speaking Korean. After the editor, is done with her interaction with the receptionist, she turns to them, and I don't know what she said exactly, but it was like something to the effect of like, "Do you speak to your mother that way?" or something like, or like something kind of like, how
dare you?
How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
And how dare you expect like no one to know your language while you're here?
Yeah.
Like don't ever think that, because people who travel may know. So just always be cautious and respectful.
Oh my god.
Fuck you little shits!
Yeah,
So-
so she
When-
put them in their place.
When the editor speaks Korean to Korean people, it's like the enigma was broken.
Yeah,
And
they're like,
everyone's
"Holy
like,
shit!"
oh, fuck. Like,
And
they
that was
know the
expression.
code, and
Yeah.
this isn't good
Oh, it
anymore.
was
Like,
so
they
great.
know
Shit,
us.
she knows the back door!
Right.
Yeah, it was-
like, they
oh.
suddenly shut up because now they realize that everything they said was embarrassing. And then they think about, what did I just say that was embarrassing? The editor calls them out, and I love it. I absolutely think that no Asian person expects white people to know their language.
That's true.
And in my old job, my boss had a friend who spoke natively like Mandarin, but he was a white guy, totally unassuming, and they had him in a meeting just to take notes of what they were saying. And then the people were very rude, but they were saying this right in front of them, like, "Oh, look at that guy with spinach in his teeth, what a jerk," right? Like they would say this stuff off, and then he would just write it down, and then at the way end of the meeting, they'd be like, yeah, we'll take care of that spinach in our teeth for you.
Yep.
And then they would just be like mind blown.
Like,
And
oh my
that's
God.
all his job was, is to be the guy that can break the code.
Yeah.
And
Because
but
it's like it's just so. I mean, maybe as an American, with like we have so many people who speak so many different languages here in general. Like, yes, English is like kind of the main, but like there are never fucking assume.
Yeah.
All right, is what we have learned in this. Never fucking assume, because someone will probably know what you're saying. It's, the stereotype that Americans don't know what you're talking about might be true for the majority of interactions, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Don't be an asshole.
just, don't be an asshole. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.